All right, we're back for another episode of the OSBC podcast, which stands for Old South Brooklyn Cleveland podcast.
Old South Brooklyn Cleveland, I didn't know.
That's where we currently are. We are currently located in the historical district of Old South Brooklyn in Cleveland, Ohio. Zip code 44109. I don't know anything more than that, other than that's what the name used to be.
OSBCF. So is that the final name? Is that?
I don't know.
Don't
I
know?
think we're going to change. We might have to change it, honestly, Alex, because it's the two cousins. You know, we would get together, once a year for the first 18 years. We fucking knew each other. We'd see each other
Pretty
on
much.
Christmas Eve. We'd be like, yeah, we gotta hang out. We'd be like, yeah.
We did New Year's a few times.
Did we?
As little kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Once or twice.
in this house, I believe.
Those were parties, because there was the pool table in the basement and the bar in the basement.
That was a long time ago.
Yes. Many, many coats of paint in between then and now. But I threw up many a time in the bathroom in the basement on Christmas Eve. Or not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. And I think one of them I was hungover and I had to get up and help push a car out of the driveway that was a sheet of ice. Like the very next morning. And it was the worst. Absolute worst, because I had thrown up so hard that it came out my nose. So that's all I could smell. Which just made me even more nauseated.
And sometimes you get that vomit, like, lodged in your sinus, just like a chunk of vomit.
Ugh.
And then you'd have to, like,
Yeah.
until it came out, and then you'd want to throw up again. And like,
Because it's just really a disgusting thing. I hated throwing up. So at the end of boot camp, the very last thing before the Eagle Globe and Anchor ceremony, where the drill instructors that have been just breaking your balls and screaming at you for like 3 months, they hand you the Eagle Globe and Anchor, and they say, welcome to the family, brother," and it's a very emotional. I would say it would be a very almost spiritual moment. It's a moment of great reckoning. But immediately following the crucible is a 10-mile hump back to base, where you get to take your time to shower, which throughout the entire time of boot camp you had literally 30 seconds to shower. Like, that was the time allotted to showering. You had about 2 minutes tops to eat. Like, I mean, I'm talking, you're standing in line for chow, and then 2 minutes later you're lining up outside after having inhaled as much as you could, while still maintaining proper, seated position. It was ridiculous. So, you go to you take a shower, clean everything off, clean off all the cami paint and the grease and the grime from being out in the field on the crucible, which was ridiculously hard. Like, for real, one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, if not the most difficult thing to, like, ridiculous, hands down. So, we go to the Warriors breakfast. The Warriors breakfast was, you get to order eggs however you want them. If you want them over easy, you can get them over easy. If you want them over medium, you can get them over medium. Like, you can actually order food like a human being. It's not you hold out your tray. This is exactly how it would go. You would hold out your tray while you sidestep to the right, all the way down the line as they just threw shit on your tray. And then you sat down after marching to your seat. You sat down, and you right hand, right knee, left hand, left knee. You know, back straight, feet flat.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
With your belly up to the table, right? And you have to be looking straight ahead. So everybody sits down, and then that's when you're allowed to start eating. You can eat with your right hand. I'm left-handed. You have to eat with your right hand, and you can't move your face to the food. Like, you have to maintain the same position. So you just throw food into your face. Like, it was. I've never had such hand-eye coordination in my life as I did when I was at boot camp. Because if you don't, you can't look at your food at all. Like, you have to just scoop and throw it into your face. It's looking back, I don't know how a drill instructor didn't laugh at like how robotically mechanical it was. You know what I mean? So the Warriors breakfast, you could actually sit down and enjoy the taste of your food and not have to fucking be in a rush, right? Well, what happens is over a period of 3 days of the Crucible is you have, I think it's like two MREs. So you have enough for 2 meals. You have to split it up in 3 days, right? And so you're starving. So throughout the entirety of boot camp, your stomach is shrinking because you can only eat so much in that amount of time, right? Which helps with the weight loss if you're fat. Which some guys were fat. They were called equal signs because they would they would absolutely, you would have to take your PT clothes, like your sweatshirt and your skivvy shirt. Your t-shirt is called a skivvy shirt. Your sweatshirt is called your sweatshirt. I believe, I forget the exact fucking what it's called, but and they would take a roller of paint with white paint on it, and they would hold up an equal sign thing, like a template, or what is it, a stencil. There we go. They'd hold up a stencil on the sweatshirt, and they would paint an equal sign on the front and an equal sign on the back. So if anybody saw you slacking off, they would fucking get up your ass. Like, any drill instructor anywhere saw an equal sign, fucking half-assing it, it would draw attention to them, so it'd make them work harder, and basically single them out to be bullied like a motherfucker because they're fat. You know what I mean? You know, well, throughout the entirety of boot camp, your stomach is shrinking. You get to the Warriors breakfast after only having like 2 meals over 3 days of like extremely stressful and grueling conditions. Like, forget it for how much you marched and ran with packs on, just the whole thing. Okay, so after that, your stomach is like only so big. It can only take in so much food. So at the Warriors breakfast, I like ate slowly. I made sure that I got pancakes because I wanted pancakes with butter and syrup. So I got 2 pancakes with butter and syrup. And then I got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on top of my eggs, potatoes, bacon, more bacon, and then toast. So I was full. Some of these guys were fucking eating like it was the hometown buffet, and they were just fucking slamming food. I mean, slamming food. I stopped because I knew I was full. I knew I ate more than what I was supposed to have eaten. And I knew that as soon as we were done with the Warriors breakfast, it wasn't going to be a fucking, we're not going to go traipsing back to the barracks. It's going to be run out the door, stand in formation, fucking run around until everybody fucking pukes. Like, I knew it. That's how it was. In the Marines, if you're not moving as fast as you can move, you might as well not be moving at all. You might as well be standing still. And like, it's on a full stomach, that's it's a difficult task to keep your food. Like, and guys were fucking throwing up. I got in so much fucking shit that day after the Warriors breakfast because I kept fucking laughing at everybody fucking puking. Like, and the drill instructors were fucking having a hard time keeping it together because they were laughing because everybody was fucking puking because it's fucking hilarious. Like the sounds that people make, the fucking faces that they make, the gurgling, everything about it, the splash of the vomit hitting the floor makes me fucking laugh. Recruits. Yeah. You know, what the fuck are you, clean that shit up. Like, that's just how it went.
Jesus. So, during the Warriors breakfast, were you allowed to eat with your left hand?
By that time, Alex, I just, it was fucking, dude, it had been pounded into my head so many times. Fucking eat with your right hand. That's like the first step you take is with your left foot.
I heard that left hand and Latin is sinister.
Well, yeah, nuns would.
It's evil.
Yeah, it's of the devil.
The left-handed path.
Well, that's what it was. That's what it was known as in the. I don't know if it was the Inquisition or not, but that's where it generated from. Was left-handed was of the devil. So you just get your, like nuns in Catholic schools back when they could beat kids. They would fucking beat the shit out of kids left hand if they were writing with their left hand because it was considered of the devil. But you know what's weird? I'm more comfortable boxing from a right-handed stance, playing baseball from a right-handed stance, and when I cut meat, I use my right hand versus my left hand.
All right.
So I write and I eat with my left hand. So it's a weird thing. But this one kid, Battle, I think he was from Mexico or Texas via Mexico, whatever. He was so fucking fat. Like, dude, he was probably 220 pounds. And he was probably 6'1", but he was just chewed bubblegum dough boy, fat ass. And he would puke after every fucking meal. I mean, like, without fail, dude, without fail. He would run from, you have to run. As soon as you're on your feet, you're moving it, like, as fast as you can go without, breaking your neck or anyone else's. So, get up, we run out to formation. You have to go stand in formation and be ready to move on to the next training phase. And every time he would run outside, he would run straight to the fucking storm drain and just everything he ate, he would fucking throw it back up. Like everything he ate. Like every fucking meal. And I would laugh every fucking time and get in trouble for it every fucking time. Because it was fucking hilarious, dude. Like, to the point where I was like, I talked to him, like, dude, why do you even bother eating? He's like, 'cause I'm just so hungry. He wound up losing, like, almost 100 pounds at boot camp. He was fucking, like, ripped. I mean, like, ripped, skinny ripped, but he had, like, all that extra skin. Like, fat bastard. Oh, man, it was fucking crazy. Oh, man. And then everybody gets sick. This is cramped conditions. But we were going to talk about hack comedians and hack comedy. And you said, who were the names you brought up?
First names come to my mind. Dane Cook.
Dane Cook
Total douchebag.
Did steal jokes on multiple occasions from Louis C.K. and Joe Rogan.
Daniel Tosh. He stole it from Daniel Tosh.
He, allegedly, we'll say allegedly, because it's something that we would need to do on something that's being broadcast, even if it's only to fucking 4 people. But yeah, allegedly he stole a couple of jokes. Carlos Mencia.
I mean, he sucked to begin with.
Yeah, he
just awful.
Very
fake,
insincere.
Fake Hispanic. He did. That was his real name.
Dude, Ned Holness or Holdings. I think it's Ned Holness. And he's like Honduran and Swedish or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, he was caught on multiple occasions. Joe Rogan actually jumped up on the stage and confronted him about it. he allegedly stole from Ari Shafir. The whole deporting all the Mexicans, and then who's going to build the wall? You know, and then I said Robin Williams and Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, I don't think that there is any like solid like audio proof. Like with Dennis Leary, there's absolutely Louis C.K. alleges that Dennis Leary stole a bit from him, and we'll get into that in a minute. But Robin Williams was accused a couple of times, and it came out. I don't know who came out with it or when, but there was a story of Robin Williams actually paying people, like giving them regular checks or giant checks or whatever, because he was like riffing, or he was in the middle of his show and then it walked into their bit, and then he wound up paying them.
Looking at it here, he called it joke sampling. Robin Williams. The thing about Robin Williams is like he's got so much talent, and he's done so many things that are unique to him that nobody else could do. I mean, he's iconic, and he's all the voice acting he's done, all the characters he's played in movies and TV. I mean, I think he deserves a pass. I don't know. I mean, because he stands on his own. He isn't known for his...
I look at it this way. If he did, I'm sure he did more than to compensate whoever he took from. Oh, dude, I just cut a wicked fart. Sorry.
You can open the window.
You could open the door.
It's trapped.
It is trapped. With Robin Williams, he had a need to be loved. You alright?
Maybe we get the raccoon to come in here.
Yeah.
Just get him to come in the house, and once he's in here,
we'll talk to him, feed him something. He was eating something the other day. Here we go. So with Robin Williams, I think he had a legit need to get laughs, like to have that adoration, so then he would joke sample or whatever it was called, whatever he called it. But Dennis Leary, I think...
He stole from Bill Hicks.
He did. He stole from Bill Hicks. He pretty much copied his entire first album. Yeah. And Joe Rogan had multiple... There's multiple things that Joe Rogan said about it on his podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, which I suggest you check out if you haven't checked it out. And if you haven't checked it out, you're checking this out. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. That's, he also took from Louis C.K. Louis C.K. had a story.
Yeah.
And have you ever heard it?
No.
All right, so I'm gonna pull it up. I believe we can have other people's content if we're talking commentating on it.
Yeah, putting it in context.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull this up because this is something that no matter what, it's always gonna. I've always had this, every time I've seen Dennis Leary, I'm like, yeah, he's okay. Like, I've never been like, oh my god, I've never, laughed at him like I've laughed at, Jim Norton or some Joe Rogan shit or Tom Segura or Bert Kreischer's stories. Have you ever heard of Bert Kreischer's stories?
No.
Bert Kreischer, rolled with the Russian mob in Russia. He's...
Oh, wait, no.
The party dude.
I do know what you're talking about. The guy with no shirt in Florida or something.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Told me that.
Bert Kreischer is probably one of the best storytellers out there. And he's hilarious. And is that the raccoon coming in?
Oh, I can't wait.
That's what we should fucking name it, the raccoon.
Yeah, he deserves a name. Or she, you know, I don't want to assume.
I'm gonna assume
it's gender.
I'm gonna assume it's a female. I'm gonna go ahead and make that.
Clever.
I'm gonna assign that gender to her. For those of you that don't know, I've got this weird thing where I like to trap animals. I don't necessarily like to kill them. I mean, it's part of like trapping like varmint animals, but I don't know. It's something that's always the challenge of like hunting or being able to figure out to out clever a animal always feels great. You know, like I'm smarter than a dumb animal that lives outside and has no opposable thumbs. Raccoons do have that. They do have that dexterity, but they don't have the advanced problem-solving skills that humans do. I'm not saying that I do, but
we're just a step above.
Dennis Leary, Stolen Jokes. Okay, this is titled under YouTube as Louis C.K. trashes Dennis Leary for being a joke thief.
Today's video is once again sponsored
by ads. God damn it.
You gotta get that YouTube bread.
Once I get my tax refund, I'll consider it. Okay.
I gotta see Alan Alda tonight. Watch him blow me off.
Who?
Alan Alda. Boy, will I be dropping your name immediately.
Hi,
I'm Lisa Canada.
Oh, no.
I'll be nice.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's up, Alan?
He eats at that restaurant at the top of the hill, Jimmy. That's where you can find him. That worked with me, with Dennis Leary, when I mentioned Adam's name.
Yeah,
he me off.
My drinking
Oh, really?
water?
Yeah, him.
This your water?
Fucking Leary.
Is this your water?
Fucking talentless cunt. Wow, you're not a big Dennis
It's
Leary
the Opie and Anthony show.
Make a headline today.
Never mind, I might want to be in wrestling.
Let's make a little Google alert
I don't know where
today.
that came from.
Let's go for a Google alert. That's our new bit.
I mean, Dennis Leary really hasn't done anything
Why do you hate Dennis Leary?
I mean,
Did you ever fight?
What?
funny
No,
since
it's just
like
funny
the
'cause last time he
90s.
saw me, we had a nice conversation.
Yeah.
I'm always nice to him in public. Stole a bit from me years ago. Oh, did he?
It's always interesting to hear
That's a biggie, though.
stories that come out later
I
on.
used to listen to the early Dennis Leary stuff, and I thought he was a genius. And now I have to think you're the genius. Well, what bit was it? Oh, was it off his first album? I don't know. I never heard his album. But
Please, of course you have.
couldn't be bothered. Like you would take me to task. Oh, God. Sure you like it.
How can you take credit for the asshole song? I mean,
That's weird. I've never said anything
that
about
was-
it, and I don't know why that just.
That's what this
You know
is.
why? Because he was shitty to you. That makes me mad. He did. He fucking totally was a douche. I don't care that he skates and has.
All right, let me skip forward a little bit.
We've settled. We've since settled.
I mean,
He stole the asshole song from Louis C.K. Well, he didn't steal the song. He stole the bit from Louis C.K. Louis C.K. was doing a bit where he said, he's like, oh, well, oh, there's no parking spaces when I park in a handicapped space. Well, yeah, of course, because I'm an asshole. I cut this guy off without signaling. Of course. I'm an asshole. It would make life so much easier.
wow.
Yeah, well, fuck it. We don't need to play the part where Louis
No.
C.K. does and where they just trash him for like 45 minutes while
Louis
he's
CK.
talking about it.
See, he's kind of done, man. Poor Louis.
He's not.
Jacking off, and I mean, he's not like Harvey Weinstein level or.
Yeah, he's Harvey. I was thinking this the other day. I'm not. I've lots of friends that are Jews, but Harvey Weinstein or Stein or however the fuck you say his name. He is a fat, ugly Jew and looks like almost like a caricature, almost like Nazi propaganda, like Jew. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like just ridiculous. I mean, and acts ridiculous and abuses his power and takes advantage of people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that the Nazis were right, but I'm saying there are assholes like that everywhere, and it's just funny that Harvey Weinstein just is Jew. It's funny. And he was big in Hollywood, influential, and abused his position to enrich himself.
Yeah.
Both with victims, women that he would probably line up and play like pianos. Fucking tickling the ivories.
Hotel room. Do an interview at 3 in the morning.
Can I massage you? Well, then no. You can just watch me shower. Come on, please. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me. That was just terrible. It was terrible. Did you listen to it?
No.
Oh, it was fucking terrible. Oh, what? Please. Like, I can't. It
was recorded.
Recorded and painful as fuck to listen to. Like, probably.
Honestly, I didn't even know who he was before the scandal. It's like it meant fuck all to me.
Yeah, he was a fucking faceless executive until, fucking his face was splashed everywhere.
I mean, Bill Cosby. It's pretty.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, Bill Cosby, there were always stories about him being a fucking rapist. Always were stories about him. Always. Like, I'm no authority on the comedian circuit, okay? I don't do stand-up. I've never done stand-up. I'm not a comedian. I don't work those circles. But from the countless hours of listening to different programs, there were multiple comics that said that there were stories out there about Bill Cosby doing drugging and raping women.
So, I think this conversation's been had before, but, like, is all, like, sexual assault the same? It's like the whole Me Too thing's like, oh,
yeah.
He touched a boob or touched a butt, or, versus, like, this guy raped multiple women. There's a gradation, and Louis C.K. seems to have, like, kind of be...
He's in the
like in this weird zone where
he's
people
in the
are still
gray
like,
zone.
So like, oh yeah, we still advocate for Louis C.K., but he did some pretty nasty things, I guess. But
yeah,
he didn't. He didn't cross the line. He didn't rape anybody. He didn't sexually assault anybody besides like jerking off in front of them.
But did he? He stripped completely naked in front of two female comics.
All right.
And jerked off to completion in front of them while they laughed at him. Like, whether they laughed through nervousness or whether they found it funny is of no consequence at this point. The fact that they were laughing and the fact that Louis was able to finish.
They didn't. They could have done something about it.
They could have left. I'm not saying that they asked for it. I'm not victim shaming or victim blaming, whatever that is.
No. I'm
saying that was probably not on the list of things they thought was going to happen going to Louis C.K.'s room. But at the same point, he wasn't like, you got to watch me jack off, and I'm blocking the door with my 195, 205-pound frame, whatever, while I'm naked. You have to go through me to get out of the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, I wasn't there. I couldn't tell you what happened. I don't know how the room read.
Dave Chappelle said it best in his latest comedy special about, like when he first heard about it, he just started cracking up because like he knew Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But like, it's not as serious as, Harvey Weinstein. Which,
And then is Harvey Weinstein as serious as Bill Cosby?
I don't know.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, in any way, I'm not saying that anything that anyone does is right or okay, or I'm not saying go out and, fucking strip naked and jerk off in front of two women or whatever.
Not advocating that behavior.
But Bill Cosby had a bit about Spanish Fly. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I think I did.
Where he talks about drugging women. Saying, he put it in there, whatever. But it's like,
What's in Spanish Fly? Like, I've heard about that. Like,
I've fucking heard I've heard it's a herbal mix, which is what the placebo. It's a placebo, and then all the way to a fucking Quaalude, because that would knock women out and you could get laid.
You know who sucks? Talking about hack comedians. Amy Schumer.
Mm-hmm.
There's no redeeming value. I don't know how she got famous. She's like the Ugg boots of comedians. Like, she's just like...
She's the Ugg boots that get thrown out after heavy wear and tear.
She just sucks.
She's the knockoff brand of fucking boots. She is the... What's the name of the peanut butter?
Not the Peter Pan.
No, Peter Pan's good.
Peter Pan's very good.
Peter Pan's one of my top favorite peanut butters. Anyways, she's the generic version of that. You know, fucking Top Care.
Top Care.
You know, instead of Band-Aids. Instead of Band-Aid, you get fucking CVS AIDS.
The CVS version.
Yeah, which leaves fucking chemical burns from the glue and the fucking plastic touching your skin. But what's even worse about Amy Schumer is she came up and she was able to fucking hoodwink Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal is dead. God rest his soul. He was known as he's known as Black Phillip. Black Phillip movement, which is putting women back in their place. Really, just the guy had wisdom in spades.
Yeah, he's funny.
Hilarious. But then he would actually be able to give you practical advice to help improve yourself in your life. But he passed away. He endorsed Amy Schumer. Jim Norton endorsed Amy Schumer. Every major comic out there endorsed Amy Schumer. And she fucking stole. She stole jokes from fucking Patrice O'Neal. She stole jokes from, who was the other fucking lady? Liza Minnelli? No, not Liza Minnelli. What the fuck? Lisa Lampanelli.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, Liza Minnelli. What the fuck is wrong with me? But what's even worse than that is she fucking was like, yeah, I'm the cool female comedian, blah, 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 whatever. And then all of a sudden she fucking does this 180 after she makes her money and fucking is like, I'm PC now. Well, fuck out of here. Like, if... I almost said something terrible, which I won't say, because that's fucking terrible to say. But, she is, without doubt, one of the most irritating fucking people, like, that I can't watch on TV. I can't watch them, right? I can't watch Amy Schumer, anything Amy Schumer.
I agree, man.
She was on Opie and Anthony a bunch of times. Really? I can't listen to her at all on that show. I can't listen to anything on Amy Schumer. I get fucking douche chills.
I don't even know why she's, like, famous, because one minute is just like, who is this person? I've never seen them in anything funny. Is she supposed to be good?
All of a sudden, she's got this fucking, all this heat on her. She fucking does the movie Trainwreck.
Was that it? Was that the movie?
That was her movie, where she stole jokes from Daniel Tosh. In that movie, she has a joke by Daniel Tosh that she blatantly stole from him. And there's even, like, timestamped video of Tosh doing it on his show, and then it being 2 years later in Amy Schumer's movie. You know, like, Manti Te'o. Do you know who that is? Does it ring a bell?
It does ring a bell.
Football player.
Yeah.
Was in the running for a Heisman Trophy. Comes out that he was lying about his girlfriend having cancer. This was, like, known as a ploy to garner more votes for him to get the Heisman. He'd be the first defensive player to get the Heisman Trophy in a long time, or whatever the fuck, linebacker. And he said he had a girlfriend that died of cancer or something. Like, his mom died and then his girlfriend died of cancer or some crazy shit within, like, 2 days of each other or the same day. And it comes out that the girlfriend was made up, the story was made up, and he lied and said he was catfished. But it wound up being like his friend that catfished him, or it was some weird shit. Basically, what I think happened was he made up the whole fucking story and was like, yeah, we'll fucking get we'll get the votes for the Heisman Trophy, and then my fucking stock will go way up in the draft, and I'll be able to get way more money, and I'll be able to play for whatever team I want, whatever. So, watching that coverage, don't worry, the door's blowing in the wind. The news coverage when they were doing the interviews, post coming out of the fact that he was fucking lying about his girlfriend or whatever, watching the video and hearing the video, like, makes you, like, you get, like, a chill. You know what I mean? Where your skin crawls. You're just like, ugh, this guy's such a fucking douche. That's called a douche chill. And
chill.
I get those when I'm talking to somebody and I know they're full of shit. It, kind
of like a cringe.
Yeah, you cringe inwardly. I guess that would be a good thing to call it.
Yeah.
But, Amy Schumer, I cringe at the mention of Amy Schumer, because it's just, you can tell when somebody's faking it. Like, I couldn't stand to watch Carlos Mencia.
No, his show was bad to begin with. Even before I knew he was stealing his jokes, it was like, man, it sucks.
And it's not even like, oh, this guy's voice irritates me or his demeanor irritates me. It's something about him bothers me. And it's stopping me from appreciating the humor in their jokes. It's something that comes over top, and it's over time I've come to recognize that as fake or disingenuousness or whatever the fuck it's called. It's insincerity. Somebody putting up a front or putting up an act, and it's like within moments of meeting somebody, I can tell if somebody's being fake or not. And it's just like, it's really hard for me to give a fuck about not showing that.
It is the greatest, though. And she gets a lot of flack, but I think Lena Dunham is just...
Lena Dunham, what are some of her bits?
No, she's awful. What is she? She was in Girls. Like, she's kind of like, become this symbol for, like, entitled white feminism.
Oh, kind of like
just really awful,
yeah.
awful person.
Kind of like Amy Schumer. You think this is like who Amy Schumer's ripping off now?
I don't know if she's ripping her off. She's just,
she makes you cringe.
I have a comment here from our absent, absent friend here. She says, Amy Schumer and Lena Dunham should get hitched, move to the Arctic, and die. That's
they
strong.
Sail on their boat, the
Sentiment.
USS Scissor. Fuck them both. They're fucking terrible. But it's like going back to like Robin Williams, probably one of the best intentioned alleged joke thieves.
He's just got so many other redeeming qualities that stand on its own, though. I mean, it's not like that was what he was known for.
Yeah.
Those jokes didn't really, like...
I think it's the same thing that, like, when you're a kid and you hear a joke for the first time and it makes you laugh and you want to tell other people. You know what I think? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so comedian, stand-up comics obviously have a need for something. They have a need to make people laugh and be the cause of that laughter, and I think it's kind of like Evolutionary Man. You know, like the calmest talking, loudest talking, calmest talking chimp rules them all.
No, I was watching part of the Jim Carrey, Andy Kaufman documentary on.
I heard different things about that. I heard
it
was okay, and then I heard it was Jim Carrey is full of himself.
I didn't watch the whole thing because I had to go, but I like Jim Carrey.
I do too. I really like him. I don't think I've laughed harder in my life than the first time I watched Dumb and Dumber or Ace Ventura.
What was he saying as a comic? Like he had the epiphany like early on in his stand-up. Like, what is he doing? He's like he needs to be the person that, you know, has no care. You know, he doesn't care about anything. You know, he has to like make people forget about their problems, and that was his kind of
his way.
His way, you know.
His way to inspire people, make people's days a little bit better. His work in Ace Ventura, like it's so asinine and so juvenile, but so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like just so fucking. Some people really laugh at that, and some people really can't fucking stand that.
Laces out, Dan.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm looking for Ray Finkel and a clean pair of shorts. Just the fucking best. Absolutely the best. The second one, what are you, HR shoving stuff? Just so fucking stupid. Just so stupid. Just so juvenile and stupid.
I like him because he does dramatic. He could do dramatic too.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah,
he's really good.
He could play the straight role. Yeah.
Like,
speaking of which, have you ever? Since we're talking about comedians playing different roles, have you ever seen Death to Smoochie?
Edward Norton. Was that?
Ed Norton's in that, as well as Robin Williams.
Yeah, I can't remember too much about it though.
Great movie. I suggest you watch it. Spinner Dunn is one of my favorite characters in any movie I've ever seen, and he's a very big character in that movie. 1 Hour Photo. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think so.
That is a great movie where Robin Williams plays a 1 hour photo, or he plays a photo tech for a 1 hour photo special place. And it is absolutely fantastic. If you're a millennial, I don't know if you know, once upon a time you would get a camera and you would have to buy film for it. You'd have to load the film.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to take pictures. And in between the pictures, you would have to wind the camera to the next picture, the next negative to be exposed, the next exposure. And then once you've taken all the pictures and the film roll is complete, you wound it all the way shut. Because you have to wind it after you take all the pictures. You have to make sure you wind all the exposures back into the roll so they don't get exposed when you take it out to the sunlight, because that would ruin the negative, and then you would be able to get the picture. So then you would take the rolls of film down to a local drugstore, where they pretty much all they sold was drugs. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, they would sell, like...
What are the photo huts, man? Like, the little photo huts. You know, they'd be, like, in the middle of a parking lot, and it'd just be, like...
Yeah. There were photo huts where that's all they did. You would take your rolls of film, and they would develop the film. And it was ridiculously expensive, and it wasted a lot of shit, and it created a lot of garbage. And then it switched to digital, where you'd get a digital camera. And those sucked for a long time, but now they're, like...
You get, like, 3 megapixels, you know, like...
And you'd have to get a fucking... a memory card.
Yeah.
An SD card. And most of the time you'd get an SD card that didn't work in the computer, or the one that worked in the computer wouldn't work in the camera, or whatever. So then you'd have to fucking figure that whole goddamn thing out.
Disposable cameras were the way to go for a while.
Did you ever make a taser out of one of those?
No. Does that work?
Wow, does it work? Holy shit, does it work? You could fucking incapacitate somebody from one of those. Fucking for real.
Huh.
Yeah, I fucking got myself. I took one apart, and I fucking was doing something, wasn't paying attention, fucking touched both wires to my fucking finger. Wow! I was like, whoa, wow. Totally alive. That was like fucking... I forget how many volts it was, but it was enough for me to go, holy fuck, I need to not do that again. Imagine a 9 volt times 10.
What is 9 times 10?
90.
90 volts. Imagine a 90 volt battery.
What's 9 times 10? Man, high science. It's high science, man. Farted in bathtubs, laughing your ass off. Lincoln Osiris, played by Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder, had one of my former friends. One of my former friends was convinced that role was played by a black man all the way up until the point where Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Osiris Lincoln, played by Kirk Lazarus, takes the wig off and the contacts out and shows that he's actually was wearing a wig and brown contacts through the whole movie. My former friend thought that was a black man playing that role all the way up until that point.
He didn't know.
He had no clue. He argued with me for
he didn't even know
for 2 days. He argued with
Robert
me.
Downey Jr. was.
No, he knew who Robert Downey Jr. was, and he recognized him in that movie in the scene where he took the wig off and he took the contacts out because Kirk Lazarus, who Robert Downey Jr. played in the movie, who was playing Lincoln Osiris, had blue eyes and blonde hair. So I was like, no, that was him throughout the whole fucking movie. And that's part of the reason why they had a hard time getting the rated R instead of an NC-17. And the other part was Simple Jack, the Ben Stiller playing the retarded guy. Or Ben Stiller playing Tug Speedman, who was acting as the character Simple Jack that was retarded. But he had a connection psychically with animals. And it was like... There were a lot of references to that.
The picture movies I see in my head when I sleep at night.
Damn, Schultz taking some real hits down there. Dude, that was... When that movie first came out on DVD, I saw it, and I bought it. And it was fucking running like security for the first 2 weeks after I got it. I fucking would come home from work and turn it on and fucking laugh and laugh and laugh. Like... I was working at Christie's as a floor host at the time. And one of the girls that came in that was newer, she was on heroin. And the reason why I recognized that was because of Jack Black's portrayal of Jeff Portnoy in the movie Tropic Thunder. He was portrayed as being a heroin addict, and he had all the fucking mannerisms. Like, I laughed so hard at that because that was fucking on point. Like, Jack Black nailed his role in that movie as a heroin addict. And I was at work, like, probably 2-3 days, 4 days maybe after seeing Tropic Thunder. And this girl came in, and she was like, she came in, I didn't really notice her because she, the girls would go in, they would go into the dressing room and then come out on the floor after however long they take to do their makeup and their whatever. So, speaking of which, dude, 30 to 45 minutes, this broad would go from a fucking train wreck meth head with a terrible tit job and huge scars under her tits to a fucking 10 with makeup. I mean, if the AC were to fail in the summertime, it would be like fucking frosting. Like, it would come off. Like, no, as soon as she started to sweat, it would fucking come off. Like, it would... She was a fucking mess. So, buyer beware. But she went into the dressing room, whatever. About 20 minutes passes, and she's out on the floor talking to somebody. And, as a floor host, you have to, make sure that nobody needs anything, right? Like, Nobody needs any drinks. Nobody needs a table. Nobody needs a server. Nobody needs food run or ice filled or beers or whatever. Anything. So your job as a floor host is to make sure everything goes nice and smooth. So then as I'm looking around, also to make sure nobody needs any reminders to keep their hands to themselves. Customers with the girls sometimes get crabby. So I'm looking around, and you just check everything. You look everywhere. Everywhere you see somebody, you look to make sure there's nothing inappropriate going on. So I look through, do the sweep the floor with my eyes, whatever. Look over the whole fucking place. And then I come back to a couple different points. One's at the bar. This drunk guy's talking with his hands, real animated. He's like leaning over the bar. Okay, nothing. And then I see this girl talking to a guy about a dance. And at first, I'm like about to, move my eyes to another spot to make sure nothing's going on. Because that's your whole job, is just to watch. And then stop stuff before it starts. So as I'm about to look away to the next point of interest, I see her do the fucking jaw grind, like teeth grind. Yeah, where she's like, she does this thing where she's like trying to like run her fingers through her hair. Like she puts her hand over her face and then pushes her fingers up into her hair and tilts her head back while she's grinding her teeth. Her jaw's working left to right while she's talking to this guy, and her eyes are so fucking heavily lidded. I was like, wow, she is so fucking high, out of her goddamn mind on heroin right now. Like, she is just fucking blasted. So I just kind of laughed to myself because I'm not a goddamn doctor. I'm not an interventionist. I'm not, as long as she's not fucking dying or whatever, I don't fucking care. It's her choice, her money. She wants to destroy her life, fine, whatever. They're independent contractors, and goddamn it, that's how you treated them. So anyways, so a couple days later, one of the toilets in the women's restroom had a crack in it, so it had to be replaced. So this guy, Frenchie, he did all the work on the building. And he came in with the toilet, and we're like waiting for the last girl to get out of the bathroom so I can stand by the door while he changes the toilet out so nobody goes in there while he's changing the toilet out. And this broad is in there. Without a doubt, she's tying one off. She's definitely tying her arm off and injecting some fucking pills or injecting some fucking heroin into her goddamn veins. Like, it's for sure going down. She was in there while I'm like, hey, you gotta get out of here, like, now. She was in there for like 25 fucking minutes after, like, the entire time I'm yelling in there, like, hurry up, let's go. And she's fucking just not listening. I can't go in there and grab her and yank her out of there because it's illegal. It's on top of that, I'm not trying to get fucking stuck with no hypodermic needle with whatever. But that was probably one of the funniest moments, like, when I saw her doing that jaw grind thing, the first thought in my head was a joke, and it was, do you think she's doing an impression of Jack Black in that movie talking about Tropic Thunder because it just came out? And I told it to one of the other floor men before I left for the day, and he thought it was pretty goddamn funny too. But I don't know where I was going with that story. That's just the end of that story.
Let me play some stolen content. I don't know what this is going to be, but...
Who is it?
You're absolutely ready to annihilate the competition. Use my mega move, the propeller splash.
Oh, some, like, wrestling chick from, like, the early 90s on this guy's Twitter page. OGVHS.
OGVHS. What kind of what stolen content is it? Or just her mic
just
work?
Like, takes a bunch of, like, old VHS clips. Let's see what else he's got.
But with any opponent on a raw video game to change my attributes and make me invincible.
Dude.
I have no idea. Stolen
For Super
content.
Nintendo, hit AYL start. And for Sega, hit CAL start.
What the fuck?
I guess this is for like a wrestling video game.
Oh,
From
just
the
the different
90s.
codes and shit?
Oh, here's Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
Hit C. For Super Nintendo, hit A. For Sega, hit C. For Super Nintendo, hit A. For Sega, hit C. I make a great Super Nintendo.
How about...
This is how you can change my action. You want to make a great wrestler? Even better. This is how you can change my action. You want to make a great wrestler?
Have you ever heard the Japanese translation to English bad case of diarrhea loop?
No.
Oh, it's terrible.
Wait a minute.
I would play it,
I think
but
I know what you're talking about.
I would play it, but it's just so terrible. But it's pretty good because you get it for like a 10-hour loop. And it's just a guy in English going, I have a bad case of diarrhea. And then it's these Japanese women doing this weird fucking dance where they go, I have a bad case of diarrhea. And it's set to a weird tune. It's just so, and it gets stuck in your head. You'll be walking around singing it. It's another gift from the Opie and Anthony show. It's something I'm going to make reference to again and again. It's something that definitely influenced me a lot, and it made me want to turn on a microphone and record my voice saying stupid shit. So far, that's a great success.
Let's see, here's a excerpt from a He-Man commercial. Wait a minute. Let's get that.
Separately. You will have to put the castle together. Ram Man, use your head. I just did it. Not that way. We have a prisoner. Good. Who's the prisoner? You are. We have the power. Oh, no. Ram Man and He-Man from the Masters of the Universe collection, each sold separately. Castle Grayskull also sold separately.
It's,
I thought it was going to be funnier.
That's, that should be like a disclaimer. I should just wear a shirt that says I think everything's going to be funnier. It's always funnier in my head.
I'm Adam, Prince of Eternia.
Is that a fucking lawnmower? At fucking 12:14?
It's a helicopter.
Oh, it's a fucking ghetto bird. Welcome to Cleveland, motherfucker. They should do a Grand Theft Auto Cleveland.
Grand Theft Auto Cleveland.
Well, yeah.
Spend a lot of time in the flats. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the flats is pretty.
It's where it's at.
Interesting.
It's where there's a lot of partying going on. There's a lot of people, so whenever you have a lot of people spending a lot of money, it's always going to attract that certain crowd. There's definitely some sketchy shit going on.
Driving around the flats. I don't hang out there. I don't know.
It used to be so bad when... Okay, so the Cleveland Improv Club, which is... You get tickets for free. You get tickets for free, no problem. Unless you get like a big headliner like Bob Kelly. I think I had to pay for front row seats.
Or like Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore is... Yeah.
A-list. Only the A-list.
It's Leaning Tower of Cheese. It used to be, so there's Christie's, and right next door to Christie's is Shooters, and off of Shooters is where the Cleveland Improv is. Before the Cleveland Improv was the Cleveland Improv, it was Silk's Nightclub. And Silk's Nightclub, predominantly African-American people would go there. At the end of the night, after bar close, the protocol for sending the strippers home is you make them stay in the building until everybody has left the parking lot. That's not a stripper's car or a stripper's ride, okay? So that way you can make sure there's nobody following anybody home. So we're talking like 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning is when they're allowed to leave. So as we're expelling the customers from the club, Shooters is also closing and expelling everybody, and also Silk nightclub is expelling all their people. So everybody's all fucked up. I mean, everybody's trashed. And we're talking like probably a real quick 300 people out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden there's just drunk people everywhere. So all the brothers over at Silk's nightclub are fucking rolling their whips, ghost riding their shit, pounding their stereo systems, whatever. And showing off their hydraulics, which, I'll admit, dude, it's really fucking cool. Like, that's a really slick fucking thing. Like, when you have a car with a lift kit or a hydraulic set with lights and a stereo, whatever, and a sweet paint job and awesome rims, low pro tires, I mean, it's fucking cool to watch a car just fucking do crazy shit. The guy hits the switches. It's something that's always fascinating. Always. Same thing with, like, old school muscle cars. Always found them fascinating.
Right.
So, with all these cars out here showing off, and nobody can leave with their cars. So it's just a giant, like, just all these people together, intoxicated, in a traffic jam, in the flats. And the flats are the flats. There's one way in, one way out. And if traffic is a dead stop, nobody's getting in, nobody's getting out, including cops or ambulances or fire trucks or anything other than a fucking bird or a helicopter. You're not getting in or out. So, at this point in time, I'm guessing there must have been a fight or something because the crowd over at Silk, there erupted gunfire. Right? Like, pow, 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 pow. And then 3 other guns after that first gunshot, 5 to 7 shots. 3 other guns, separate sizes, also started firing. And I'll never forget it. I was the guy holding the door shut at the front of the club from the outside. That was my job, was to keep everybody out, turn people away at the door, and keep the strippers from leaving. So I had to hold the door shut from people coming in or people going out. So while I'm out front, there's a line of taxis, like 4 or 5 taxis that strippers have called and said, I need a ride. So one of them was a big van, one of those Chevy Astro van, passenger, whatever. And as the gunfire erupted, I instinctively crouched down on one knee in front of the front tire, and I kind of sat there for a minute, and I was kind of chuckling because I'd, maybe a year and a half earlier gotten home from the Marines. And I was like, that'd be fucking fucked up if I got all the way through a 4-year tour of the Marines, come back to Cleveland, get shot outside of a fucking strip club. While I'm standing by there, the taxi driver had left his vehicle, ran in the club, and was hiding, like, cowering down behind the fucking counter in the club. And we're like, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of here, man. Fucking crazy asshole. They're not going to shoot through the club. They're not right on top of each other. I would say there's probably like 400 yards between the front door of Christie's and the front door of Silk's nightclub. But it was enough to where if they decided to come over and shoot at us, there was really nothing we could do because none of us were armed. We weren't allowed to be armed on the premises. But it was fucking insane. But tying it back to comedy and funny situations, Silk's nightclub is closed down, folks. It is now Cleveland Improv. So make sure you get your tickets. It's what's the temperature right now, Alex?
Dude, it's like,
I'm gonna have to check real quick.
Probably 70. It is 70 degrees.
70 fucking degrees, and it is February 21st, a Wednesday. It's 70 fucking degrees right now. 3 days ago, it was fucking snowing. 2 days ago, it was snowing.
Yeah.
It's fucking Wednesday, and I was working Saturday night, and it was fucking snowing outside. There was significant snow buildup on the ground.
I'm all for it.
Fuck yeah, if it could stay this temperature till fucking next year this time, that'd be great. Fuck.
No, this is about perfect. 70 degrees.
I'm wondering if that raccoon's gonna be out there to fucking take a shot at this bitch.
Should, man.
I'm definitely going to. I'm hoping that
it's a nice day. The raccoons, she'll be out sniffing around. Just leave some trash in the middle of the yard and just.
I was going to, but that attracts the cats. There's a dead squirrel in the street, and I called the dead animal removal number, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't do squirrels." And I was like, "You don't do squirrels?" They're like, "Yeah, nah, not really." So have a nice day. And then they hung up. I was like, "Cool. I'll just let the animals take care of it." There's like. Probably say like 6 or 7 like junkyard cats.
Do cats eat dead animals? I didn't
Cats eat every fucking thing. I do. Imagine. You eat mice that you can catch. You eat rats that you can catch. You eat garbage. And you see a dead squirrel just flattened out on the street. Well, fuck, dude. If I were a cat, that bitch wouldn't have been out in the street for very long. But I think it's coming up to the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I think if you could play our outro music, Alex.
All right.
Well, that is another successful podcast. Stay tuned because we're probably going to change the name. Something a little more French Canadian.
Flapjack Hour.
Flapjacks.
No, there's that cartoon Flapjack.
Is there?
Yeah. Flapjacks.
The crepes. The crepe hour.
I was going to say something real bad, but I can't say that.
You sure can.
Oh, no, not this one. Not this one.
Not this one? All right.